goodness.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. This is the regular meeting for the Daly City Library Board of Trustees for Tuesday, January 15, 2019. I call this meeting to order. Let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tape delay so we don't swear.
Little feedback.
Okay.
We're good? Okay. May we have roll call, please?
You may have roll call. Trustee Shabunka,
Here.
Trustee Lex, Vice President Lagarta,
Present.
and absent today are Trustee Balmejo and President De Vera.
Thank you. I hope that everyone has had a chance to review tonight's agenda. If there are no updates, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. For the minutes from our last meeting on Tuesday, November 20th, 2018, is there a motion to move?
So moved.
And seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Now let's go to our agenda. For the director's report, I know we didn't have a meeting last month. Do you have anything to report?
We actually, this is very rare that we don't have a director's report, but we didn't schedule one for this evening. We'll be back at it in February.
Okay. For the trustees' report, we're still going to be focusing on our advocacy and the 4 pillars. First topic is creating awareness. Last meeting we mentioned a team building with other commissioners, and we need to get this event on the calendar and organized. I know that we'll be coordinating with you, Joseph and Shayla. I think we need to do it sooner than later. And we need to host another Brown Act meeting, which will allow Commissioner Balmejo to get acclimated and us trustees to get, it would be a good refresher for us. At the same time, we can do a mixer or reception right after so that we can get to know the other commissioners, trustees on the different committees. Any thoughts or input on this?
If I may, Vice President Lagarta, I actually spoke to the city manager and city attorney today, and they're both on board because we're
Awesome.
getting a lot of new commissioners. I don't know if you've been following, but we've got 3 vacancies. Well, we had 3 vacancies going into yesterday on the Planning Commission, and we've got a vacancy in the Arts and Culture Personnel Board. So they've got one more meeting in January. We're hoping to get some more appointments, and then a Saturday in February, we'll do exactly what you described. It'll be a Brown Act review, a mixer with as many commissioners that can attend. For the new ones, it'll be their first orientation with the Brown Act. For the rest of you, it would be a refresher and a good opportunity to ask questions and meet your colleagues on other boards and commissions. So we don't have a date yet, but we're looking at a Saturday
In February.
that's not Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah, we definitely want attendees, so.
FYI, not that this should determine the date, but I'm going to be out of town from February 7th through the 18th.
7th through the 18th. Okay. We definitely want you to attend, so we'll keep that in mind. Okay. We also talked about coffee with trustees at local branches. I know that Joseph and Shayla, you guys will be speaking to the branch managers to see how we can host this event. Maybe you can get us some good days, times, and where this can be housed within the libraries. What's a good library to host something like this? What were you thinking?
I would probably start at the ceremony main library, and
Okay.
then we can, kind of work out any kinks that might come up at that point, and then move to the other libraries from there. We can make a pot of coffee and put you, maybe in a high traffic area probably during around a time when there might be a story time or something like that, it tends to be a little busier. You might get more takers. So.
Okay. So yeah, I think I do like that idea, starting off at the ceremony library, and then we can determine the month and the dates to host. Would it be recommended maybe like a weekend or a weekday?
Well, it's unfortunately not open. I would say a Tuesday or a Thursday morning.
A Tuesday or Thursday, okay.
And hopefully at a time where we can have a couple trustees. And
I was
know
kinda
all
like,
of you
what?
you have obligations, I know, during the workday, but
Just work.
ideal.
If we can get it pre-planned, I can definitely make it. Another item, this is another item on our calendar. So in the meantime, we'll work behind the scenes to get this up and running. Third topic is the Talking Points bookmark. I just wanted to know, has there been any feedback on that? I know we had rolled that out some months ago, and we worked on it for quite a while. Any feedback or comments from the community?
A lot more comments. It does direct people to the website for the library board, but I haven't seen any emails come through. We ran out at John Daly and replenished, and then I actually last week got a request for more for Westlake. So, and
People are
they had a
taking
big
them.
stack, so they're definitely going
So
out.
that's good. Yeah.
And it's generating discussion among staff, if nothing else.
Okay.
It's
So a
got
talking
staff talking
point,
about
yeah.
things too. So.
And reorders are good.
I got some feedback, and I've been remiss not to follow up on it personally, but it was pointed out to me that the bullet point that deals with the percent, I believe it's the percent of library card holders in Daly City, doesn't jibe with the population figure. The math is off somehow.
Oh.
And I should have looked at it. I meant to. It just keeps slipping my mind. But that's something to take a look at.
We can definitely edit that so that it's accurate and up to date.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know how we missed it.
We'll have to check our math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. The next subject is, out of our 4 pillars, is communication. So unfortunately, I have not had an opportunity to visit the library last month, and I know Tricia did not either. I know Marcel did because he walked the libraries with you, but he's not here this evening. Bill, did you get an opportunity?
Well, my recollection is that we didn't, we had 2 different, an initial round that we all fulfilled, a second round that we all failed to fulfill, and then a third round where we did pretty much go.
Yeah.
But I don't remember a 4th round.
I think it's going to just continue to be ongoing, just us chiming in with the libraries, talking to the patrons.
Just dropping in, sort of unannounced or scheduled, or, because everything's been scheduled up to this
Scheduled,
point. and
yeah.
It hasn't been with
Scheduled
patrons.
would be ideal, but I mean, I do go to the library as well, so then I chime in when I'm there. So I think, we'll put that on the agenda to kind of get that a little bit more organized. Okay. Our next topic is video creation with testimonials. I know that we wanted to create a compelling video with patrons and employees alike, so we still want to move forward with that. We're in the very, very early stages where we need to prepare our video photo release forms. Did you have a template for something like that?
Well, it's a great idea. I think we all agree, and I think it's going to be a really effective communication tool. There is a cost to it, and so we don't have a budget for it. But what we did talk about last time is we do have a video technician, Cello, who's actually running the cameras tonight. But we also do not have field video equipment to go out and capture the video, and we don't have editing equipment. So we had talked about purchasing that through the city's public and education and government capital equipment fund. So There's no money in that account for expenditure, but as soon as a finance director gets back, we're going to do a mid-year capital budget assessment, and my desire is to put some money in for more equipment at that time.
Okay.
And I think Cello is ready to go. We also have some really creative people on the recreation side that, I don't know if you follow Daly City Recreation on Facebook or Instagram, they post little videos, and that's actually a contract
Oh, okay.
employee, and he does it on a kind of a flat basis. He uses all of his own equipment and does all the scripting and video, and it's a bargain for what we get. That's another option. I kind of like the idea of the city actually having some equipment so we
Right.
can go out, not just for libraries, for other purposes, to get some videos. So that will happen, for sure.
So then that's definitely a agenda item, which will carry over. Like I said, we're in the earlier stages. We have a lot of logistics to actually figure out.
We have release forms that have been approved in form from the city attorney. I don't think we need to reinvent that. I think we can use the existing forms. And also there's a company called CGI that does little promotional videos for cities across the United States, including they've done a series for Daly City. If you ever go to dalycity.org, they're not very prominent, but there are links. I think there's 5 or 6 different subject areas, including libraries. They update those periodically, and they're scheduled for update this year too. So that will probably be happening in the next couple months.
Okay.
So we'll have those videos refreshed. They have a shelf life, and they start to look kind of stale after a couple years, but
That looks like the
those do live on the
70s.
website today, and there's one on the libraries, but it's time for something fresh and new.
So when you say that the city will acquire video equipment that could be used for this purpose, what kind of time frame are we talking about? A couple of months, 6 months?
Probably a couple of months. They typically do a mid-year adjustment on the capital budget. I got to get that money or take it separately to get appropriated by the council for that purpose. So I would say within a couple months, that's reasonable.
So the end of March?
Sure.
Okay, maybe we can, note that in our calendar and follow up.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Next is community involvement. Shayla, do you want to brief us on the American Library Association National Library Week?
Sure. Every year, we have National Library Week in early April, and there's typically a proclamation, and we have done different programs. I think actually it kind of slipped by us last year, but in prior years we've bribed people to follow us on social media or to like us and follow. And it's just a good time to remind people about libraries because other libraries, we're surrounded by other communities with great libraries, are doing the same thing at the same time. The National American Library Association coordinates it and themes it. They provide some graphics as well as suggested press releases, things like that. So, and their theme this year is just so right on point. It was libraries equal strong communities, and so that's really what it would frame a conversation to have around that. And I think it's about the right time to start thinking about if we wanted to incorporate that into something else that we were going to do, the coffee with the commissioner kind of a thing, or other programs that we might want to do.
Okay, so we'll put that as an item.
We'll definitely, we'll do the social media push and all that,
Right.
but if we wanted to do.
Anything that comes to mind?
Well, part of National Library Week, they actually have several bullet points, and they've broken down the first 4 days of the week for themes. Monday, well, first of all, I think we should request that the City Council recognize National Library Week, that it be a prominent part of their agenda, do a proclamation or whatever the proper term is.
They would do a proclamation probably at their second meeting in March, so it would be done in advance of National Library Week.
Maybe do a joint presentation to the president of the Board of Trustees as well as the executive director or the president of DCPLA, maybe a
both?
threesome, yeah. So that would be one suggestion. On Tuesday, ALA says it's a day for library staff, administrators, and friends groups to recognize the valuable contributions made by all library workers. And I think that's a great idea. And I was wondering, Victoria, if you'd like to, if DCPLA might consider partnering with the Board of Trustees to do something that involves at least one DCPLA member, at least one trustee, going to the branches that are open on that day and maybe a branch that's not, that's open the next day with, I don't know, cupcakes,
Chocolate.
Tootsie's candy, you know, but something that
treats.
directly is given to the staff that they probably will enjoy, you know, that says, we really appreciate what you do and you're really, you know, going above and beyond the call, given our staffing situation.
Yeah, I would be happy to do that. I love stuff like that. That would be great. So that would be the Tuesday of National, so the 8th,
Tuesday, April
Yeah.
9th.
oh, 9th, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that idea too.
And then to every branch, or, I mean,
Well-
they're not
Ones that
all
are
open
open.
that day. You're saying maybe to the ones that are open that day?
Well, I'm
and the
thinking
ones that
between
aren't?
John Daly and Bayshore, whichever one's open that day, and then go to the other one the next day because they're on open alternate days,
Right, right.
if I recall. And of course, what we would do would have to be proportional to the staff at the various branches, so.
So I need a list from you, so I have an idea
Yeah,
how
I
many.
provided one to Susan.
Oh, okay, I might have that.
I can send it. It changes.
So we will definitely get that on the agenda. That's a really good idea. I like that idea a lot. Okay, when it comes to, now we're moving on to fundraising. There are no updates at this time. I did give Victoria a card that I recently got at work for nonprofit organization proposals from Wells Fargo. In the past, we have got grants from Wells Fargo, so it's better to get them earlier than later. Okay. And now for our DCPLA report.
Victoria.
Bill had really good notes, yeah.
But next time I will.
And Tricia did ask me to prepare tonight. So what I'm reporting on is the DCPLA Board of Directors retreat, which they held in lieu of a meeting. It was on November 27th from 9 to 2 at the Lake Merced Golf Club. There was an initial icebreaker where there were introductions all around, some board business, minutes and financial statements for October, approved 2019 officers, talked about the Jackie Sphere Author Talk, which was coming up, and reception duties, who would help out doing what jobs there. Also, there was discussion about Victoria's employment status, and she's going to be considered an employee of DCPLA rather than an independent contractor.
We actually changed that.
Oh, really?
here, though.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just reporting on what was, so, but go ahead. You want to make an addendum to that and bring us up to date?
Yes, just in that that was on,
Yes. So the board actually decided to change that I was hired on as a contractor instead of an employee.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, thank you for clarifying. Let's see. Then Tom Norris, the president, did a review of 2018. How did we do? What went well? And any changes? Talked about the St. Patrick's Day event and the Crazy About Cars in Colma. Both were very successful. Membership goals are always a little elusive because they're aspirational, and you know it's tough to build the membership. In terms of budget goals, Pauline reported on the St. Patrick's Day lunch. She said about $20,000 was raised. Crazy About Cars in Colma, about $19,000.
That was great.
The book sale that was scheduled for 2019 on its sort of every other year basis has been postponed for 1 year to 2020, in part to give Victoria more time to get her feet on the ground rather than put this really heavy organizational task on her plate right away. So that's been postponed for a year. At lunch, Shauna Maltby, the interim city manager, was involved and came, and there was a really good candid discussion with Shauna about her views of libraries and, you know, their role in Daly City, and, you know, it's tough to come up with new money, but her heart's certainly in the right place. And then the 2019 framework was discussed in terms of events. Again, we're planning on a St. Patrick's Day set for March 14th. Crazy About Cars in Colma. The date is September 14th. And again, the book sale, which normally is scheduled for May, it will be in May 2020. Additional discussion went on about who's going to chair which events and which committees, and then some discussion about potential new members for the board of directors. The next meeting of the DCPLA will be Tuesday, January 22nd. And I might just report again that the Jackie Spear author talk was very successful, full house. It was supported by, let's see, what's it called? Westlake Joe's or Original Joe's now?
Oh, Original Joe's of Westlake.
Original
yeah.
Joe's of Westlake. They provided a cheese and fruit platter, and Burgermeister provided sliders cut in half, and there was wine and other beverages. So a good time was had by all, and Jackie did a really nice job talking about her personal experience in the book that she's recently authored, as well as a few things involving what's going on in California and Washington. So that concludes my report.
Thank you. And before we conclude, does anybody else have any other announcements or communications?
Just two things. Kind of flying under the radar because it's not actually at the library, but we are participating in the countywide YA NovCon. There's the main program is going to be January 26th at noon at the Millbrae Library, and they have just a bunch of YA authors. I think it's gonna be a pretty amazing program. And then Daly City, the participating cities scheduled authors to actually present at their local high schools. So you have this built-in audience of young people. And so Daly Cities is going to be at Westmore High, and it's going to be Erin Entrada Kelly, who wrote the 2018 Newbery Medal winning book Hello Universe. So she's not local, but I think it's going to be of great interest. Some of her characters are Filipina, and I think it's just going to really connect with the kids. So we're very excited. So she's going to present to about 100 9th and 10th graders on Friday.
Great.
And then the only other thing was, you might have seen it in the newsletter, but the state library has arranged for free access to the New York Times. So our users can go through our website, validate, and download the app and have that resource available to them for at least the next 18 months.
Nice.
So when you say download the app, is this something on smartphones?
You can download the New York Times app so that you can, let's see, I think I've got it right here. So you can read it online, logged in. Yeah. You can also read it on a web browser on your computer.
That's nice. Have we communicated that feature on our social media. It's pretty interesting.
It went out in the various newsletters, but we haven't done a social media push yet, so we're waiting to see if there's any things that are not quite working perfectly.
Okay. So let's move on to agenda building for our next meeting. We will get our updates for the Brown Act meeting and mixer. Updates on communication with the library branch managers regarding our coffee with trustees. Updates on our video creation, which also goes hand in hand with getting equipment for video production. And I would like to add fundraising to the agenda building as well. Any comments or? Looking good? Okay. All right. Any public comment?
Let me run down real quick. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, with that, I will adjourn our meeting.